We are on day 3 of figuring out once and for all PA6, PA12, petg, petcf, and PLA plus, which is the best for supports, which is ultimately going to be the best for your frame. At least for me, I care about this kind of thing. I don't know about you. But anyway, we're on day 3, and right here I have my PA12 and petg. So in my earlier videos, you saw it before, did not like the PA6 at all for really every reason. I don't like the texture of it. Did not like how supports weld to the frame. All in all, not a fantastic experience. One that I have had every time using PA6. So I'm just not going to use PA6 anymore. That being said, this was actually my very first petg print ever. So this is the petg. Super glossy. Crazy glossy. And yeah, it's interesting, but at the end of the day, I'm not really thrilled. I'm not really thrilled with it. I probably won't use it for this purpose again. Firstly, it kind of hard to tell, but it is super glossy. For me, I prefer more of a matte, maybe kind of satin look on my frames. And yeah, I'm not super in love with it. The material, it's strange. Like the way it feels, it's kind of gooey. There's a little bit of like a little bend. I don't know if you can tell. A little bit of a wiggle in here. It's not. I don't know. I'm not going to use these. So petg for me was a no. It was fairly easy to print. I'll give it that, but it's just not great. I'll put some pictures in here while I'm chatting your head off here, but I did not love it. So I'll use this for other more fun prints, cool prints, random things. I could potentially see this for like, I don't know, a foregrip or something like that. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see what I use it for in the future. But for frames, for me, I'm gonna say petg is a no. Just the texture, the flexibility is strange. I don't feel like it should be able to move, but it can. Um, the supports, they came off okay, but it just looks so weird. Again, I'll show you pictures. It looks really weird, and I am a bit of a cosmetic nerd over here when it comes to this. So petg, no. The PA12, I promised I was going to talk about, so I already printed this. That's why it's black and not gray. But the PA12 carbon fiber turned out pretty good. I'm happy with it. So again, I'll put in some pictures in here for the internals. If it stops focusing on my face, there we go. The supports came off pretty well, um, considering that this is the PA12 carbon fiber. I'm not upset with it. This would function perfectly. It doesn't look amazing on the inside. I do struggle with both the PA6, PA12. I do struggle with the supports a little bit more. Not not super in love with them. But so far, out of the 3 that I've done, PA12 as of right now is currently on the top. I like it. I like it. I will. We'll see. Maybe I'll build this. Maybe I won't build this. I don't know. But either way, it's pretty good. The texture on the outside is actually one of my favorites. It's yeah, it just feels solid. It's hard to put into words, but it feels proper. So I really like that about the PA12. I have a couple different PA12 builds that I've already completed all the way. Maybe in another video someday I can show you guys those. But I like the feeling of PA12, and I might, just because of that fact alone, the way it feels in your hand, I might still mess with PA12, just try to like perfect that support surface. And I'll show you pictures while I'm yapping again. But The support contact doesn't look that great. Not the most happy about it. But anyway, so that's in a nutshell, pa12 and petg. With that being said, I'm really excited. So right now I have right next to me going the PLA Plus next. PetCF will be last. The PLA Plus, that's the one I worked with the most. That's what I've done with most of my prints, PLA Plus, but I've always struggled with the supports again. Ever since I found really good support stands that work for me last week, I've been doing this test. And right now I'm running it on the PLA Plus. And the reason I'm so excited is with both of these, actually, the supports that I usually have supports that go right here to hold the trigger guard up. Usually have supports. The supports come through. Let's see if we can show you. Come through right here, and they hold this up. Well, both of these prints, the supports fail. Usually I do this overnight so that I wake up and they're done. But yeah, they completely failed. The supports just snapped on both of them. Well, one melted, bent off, whatever. The other one snapped. Either way, they failed. And yet, as you can see, the trigger guard is still there. It still printed the trigger guard just fine. And I didn't think that it would, especially with carbon fiber, but it did. It required a bunch of sanding to fix it right here. But that got me thinking, if it's still going to print the trigger guard without a support, at least a properly functioning one, then maybe I should just turn off the supports in this area entirely and give that a go. So actually, in my PLA Plus, and it is looking really, really fucking good right now. There's no support for the trigger guard. There is no support in this section, and there is no support in this section. Most of the frame, almost all of it, it's holding itself for the PLA Plus. Basically, we have supports here, and that's just about it. Everything else, I tweaked the settings a little bit on the bridging, and yeah, like I said, it's looking good. I am really excited to see that one in a few hours. It has 7 hours left. So far, it has gone amazingly. And if that works, I am going to be ecstatic. Right now, I'm a little bit nervous because it hasn't yet gotten to the trigger guard. So I am hoping that this this prints normally. This bridges the way I think it's going to bridge. I really don't know yet. Yeah, super excited for that. So that'll probably be one of the next videos. And fingers crossed, because if that works, that is going to completely change everything that I know about the internals of these. Because so far, with a lot of prints, and I mean a lot, I have not gotten perfect insides and outsides, internals, outside. What do you want to call it? I just call it insides outside. It's easier to say. Sue me. Don't actually sue me, please. Yeah, I'm stoked, guys, to really see how that works out. That will completely change how I go forward with printing if it does work, because it'll be immaculate, just about immaculate inside and outside if it does. So stay tuned, see how that goes. Any questions, ask. Remember, I'm not selling you anything. You're not buying anything from me. I'm not sending you any files. None of that shit. Don't ask. Not happening. But if you're curious about settings I use for these kinds of things, specifically how I print this part, ask away and I will see if I can help you. But if you ask me to do anything illegal, I will block you in an instant. Okay, bye.